welcome to A Homespun House. My name is Molly, and I will be sharing with you today all of the things that I have been knitting on these past few weeks. I am in my studio today. It's the first time that I've filmed from here. So behind me, you can see a little gathering of some of the beautiful yarns and all of the different bases that I offer in my shop. You'll see some teeny little empty spaces here that I need to fill in, and that's what I'll be doing this week, is restocking some of those colorways that we currently have in our shop, along with adding some really fun mini sets. I've been trying to put my focus this week on 10-gram mini sets and 50-gram collections. At the end of this week, you guys will be seeing that we are offering all of our tonal colorways on 50-gram skeins of yarn, which are now in the shop, and 20-gram mini skeins. So you can purchase any tonal you would like on a 20-gram mini skein. So that will be available later this Friday. I have been in such strong sock knitting mode. So I have finished 2 pairs of socks. Let me share with you guys the 2 pair that I have finished. The first pair is these early riser socks. I had so much fun knitting these, and I'm really on a kick where I want to knit sock with patterns, which I still have to laugh about because 2 episodes ago I mentioned that I only want to knit mindless stockinette socks, and I haven't done that since. So this is a pattern designed by me. It's not available on Ravelry yet, but I'm hoping that it will be available by the end of the month. I used our colorway Oatmeal, and then I used the colorway You Showed Me Color. And then I used our Scandinavia colorway for the toes. So I knit the cuffs a little bit longer than I have been just recently. I don't know why. Just had fun knitting this, and I wanted a little bit longer cuff. So this entire sock is knit using our soft sock base. And if you guys would like to see these exact kits in the shop, that's definitely something that I can do. However, I would like to add a couple of sock sets to the shop, and not just being your standard sock set. I think it would be really fun to do a 100-gram skein of yarn and then offer 2 10-gram skeins of yarn so that you can play around with cuffs and toes. I realize that I haven't chatted about this pullover that I'm wearing right now. So this is the September sweater designed by Petite Knit. I knit it using our rose gold colorway. The pattern calls for 3 skeins of mohair silk yarn, and I knit this using a worsted weight skein of, I believe there's mohair, silk, alpaca, and maybe merino in this. I don't remember exactly, but I've had a lot of you who are interested, so I might go into figuring out where in the world I purchased this base, because I cannot for the life of me remember, but if enough of you are interested, I might do a pre-order for this base just in any sort of colorway you want for, I don't know, a week or 2, leave it open. And this is definitely not a base that I plan on offering in the shop, but if you do want to knit the September sweater, I think this base, in my opinion, is so much more usable than the 3 strands of fingering weight, and it's so warm. So my family lives in Leipzig, which is located in Germany, and this past week we have received so much snow. And if you know me, you know that I love and adore snow. Winter, fall, summer, I love every season, but I especially love fall and winter time if there is snow. Winter is definitely not a favorite season of mine if there is no snow, but as long as snow is there, I adore it. I adore the walks. I adore going for long strolls with the children on the back of their sleds and just pulling them behind, going sledding, all of it. I love it. Sitting inside, eating a nice warm meal, drinking a warm cup of tea or coffee, and watching the snow fall from the sky or blow off of the trees. It's something that really fuels my soul. I I really love snowy winters, and our family did a couple of years where we lived in America for 2 years, and we ended up coming back to Germany. But those snowy winters were fantastic. And when we first moved back here, and the winter looked like it was going to be very mild, which is how it normally is in this part of Germany. We haven't had a good snow since almost 10 years ago, and it was nothing compared to what this is. And what this is a very standard Wisconsin, which is located in America, winter. And so I thought that I was desperately going to be missing that, and I felt a little bit of sadness about it. And then the snow came, and we have spent so much time outside enjoying the snow. And because we've been outside so much, I have been wearing this pretty much every day as a layer underneath of my jacket. And there have been times when I've just needed to take our dog outside to go to the bathroom, and I will put this on, wrap a scarf around, a wool hat, put my boots on, and go outside for 2 minutes. And this keeps me so warm. It's also not superwash, so if snow is coming down or rain, a slight mist, it just pushes off any sort of moisture, which is really, really great about non-superwash yarn. If you're wearing something that's superwash, it will soak that moisture right up. And yeah, I love layering this underneath of my jacket. I don't know how long I'll be able to wear it just because it is so warm, but I think it's great for the winter. As you can see, it's huge. It's really big on me, and I love the color. And it's just really cozy and comfy and super warm for these winter days. And it's definitely something that I'm going to be wearing a lot. The next pair of socks that I have knit is my Saturday morning socks. This is also a pattern designed by me, and one that will be will be offered in Ravelry this week, hopefully. I have it all written up. I just need to snap photographs of it. So I will be having kits for this in the shop as soon as the pattern is written up. And I knit this again using our soft sock base. And I used our Barbie colorway. This light pink is tulle skirt. And then this darker pink here is comfort. And then I have just all of those different colors together. So I love this. I've really enjoyed knitting color work, and I think I definitely will be doing a lot more of it in my future. I know I will be doing a lot more of it in my future. So we have these two pair of finished socks, and this design will also use one 50-gram skein of yarn if you plan on knitting an American size 10 or smaller, or a European size 40 or smaller. However, if you want to knit the larger sizes of this sock especially, you will need to use a 100-gram skein of yarn. So I will be offering the kit in 100-gram skein and a 50-gram skein, and then you'll get two 10-gram skeins of yarn and one 20-gram, because you will need a 20-gram for the cuff and the toe. A 10-gram will definitely not be enough. 10-gram is perfect if you just want to do that little contrast like what's there. So the next thing that I knit, I actually knit quite some time ago, but I realized that I forgot to share it with you. And these are, I believe it's called the North Country Mitt by Andrea Mowry. I have a pair of these mitts that I knit for myself using our barley colorway, and I love them. When it wasn't as cold as it is right now, I had kept mine in my coat pocket, and I was wearing them pretty much every time I would take our dog Polly out for a walk or just do any quick errand outside. So these were knit using a skein of our non-superwash DK weight yarn in a colorway that my sister Amy dyed when we lived together in America. She wanted to knit my brother Daniel something for Christmas. She thought a hat would be really nice, and there was a bit extra, so I thought it would be just really nice to send her a pair of fingerless mitts that she can wear. She loves biking, really enjoys being outside, and I know that once the weather gets a little bit warmer, she'll be able to wear fingerless mitts instead of mittens or gloves that actually cover her fingers when she's biking. So I know she'll appreciate these, especially because she dyed the yarn. I think that makes it extra special. And I just love that arrow detail in garter on the front. I think it looks beautiful. So I can't recommend those more. The fit of these is really, really great. I enjoyed knitting those Saturday morning socks so much that I decided to cast on another pair in some other colorways. I wanted to do something really different than the mustardy yellow pair that I knit. So I decided to go with our antique colorway, which is one of my absolute favorites right now. I have a project on the needles using this yarn, and Elodie wants me to knit something for her using antique. So I am using antique. I'm using fern, which is a new colorway. This should be in the shop sometime this week, probably by Friday as well. Denim, another new colorway in the shop. This is similar to bleached blue jeans, except it has a lot more tonality to it and it's a bit darker. And then I'm using Jello. This colorway is such a fun pop, and I think it adds a lot to this pair of socks. So these haven't been blocked at all. The other socks I washed and just laid them out flat, and that just helps so much with the color work. So here is this version. It is so much fun, and it's just so different. I'm already playing around with so many different ideas of colorways that you could use for this sock. I think it would be fun to make a beautiful neutral version as well. So here is this one. And I'm almost to the point where I have to do that color work right here. I'm knitting a size 39, which is the size that I wear. It's an American size 8.5. So much fun. I'm using our soft sock base again, and I am thoroughly enjoying knitting these socks so much. So this is the Saturday morning socks. Kits for that, as well as the pattern, will be in the shop soon. The next thing that I am knitting is a pair of socks for my oldest daughter, Elodie. She loves shorty socks, and she has been wearing the Christmas socks that I gave her for one of her Advent gifts quite a lot. And she's been saying that she would love to have more hand knit socks, shorties, however, because she just loves to wear them around the house as house socks to keep her feet warm. We don't have heating in our flooring, and it's just nice to have something warm on your feet. Robert and I always wear house shoes in the house, and for some reason the girls don't really like wearing house shoes in the house, which I do find a bit funny because they have to wear house shoes at school and at Kita. They don't walk around in their socks, or they don't wear their outdoors shoes. They wear house shoes during school time, but they don't like to wear them at home. I showed Elodie the pattern photo for the jelly roll socks, and she thought they were the coolest thing ever. And she told me that she wanted me to surprise her with a colorway. She wanted it to be my choice. And we have this colorway in the shop called Oracle, and I knew Elodie would love it. So using the leftovers of my Syrah sock, I did the first little jelly roll. You can do as many jelly rolls as you want. The jelly rolls are these little things at the cuff. And I decided to go with 2. I think more would just kind of be ridiculous. Maybe if Elodie wants more, I would do more, but I think 2 looks great. So I used Syrah, the leftovers. This is Gold Stellina, the ones that I used for my husband, Robert's socks. And the main sock is knit using Oracle. So for the heel, I used Oracle and Barley. I'm not sure how well you can see that. And then for this section, I used Fern, which is that new colorway that you will have seen that I used for the Saturday morning socks. And then I used Lucky, which is a new colorway inspired by Elodie. It's all of her favorite colors, and she actually is currently knitting a shawl with this colorway. So I have one sock finished, And one thing that I want to say about this sock is I thought that this was brioche. I thought that I was going to have to be knitting brioche here and brioche for the heel, but it is not. There is no brioche. It is, I think brioche is simple, but for those of you who have a hard time knitting brioche or who cannot wrap your head around it and have looked at this pattern and have held out because you thought it was brioche, it isn't. This sock is so easy to knit. It has some really fun, different aspects in it with, you know, the jelly roll and then that really fun heel, which I enjoy. I always do a slipped stitch heel, so this isn't really any extra work. It's very, very simple, much more simple than you can even imagine, I imagine. And then this little section here, and I did my own toe that I learned from my Grandma Sue here. So these are very fun to knit. I know when Elodie comes home from school, because the girls returned to school today, which is so crazy. It seems so weird to have a full 7-hour day that I can stay over here at the studio. I had been bouncing back between 2 to 4 hours a day over here at the studio because while the girls were home, I wanted to spend as much time as I could with them. And they were home from about mid-February until today, February 15th. So, yes, I know she will be very excited to see these. And I have already started, I can't remember what needle size these socks call for, but I'm using a needle size American Zero, so a 2mm needle. And I am knitting the small. There are 4 different sizes for this sock. Extra small, small, medium, and large. And it will give you a circumference, so it's pretty easy to figure out what you need. So I'm knitting a small for a 9-year-old child on size 0 needles. And it seems perfect for me. So I just have about an inch of the first jelly roll knit, and I'm excited. I'm excited to knit these. I'm excited to finish them. And if Elodie likes them, I am thrilled to knit another pair of socks. I'm looking forward to thinking about colorway combinations already. And I will have kits for these socks in the shop by Friday. The final thing that I have been working on is my balloon cardigan. Now, this looks nothing like the balloon cardigan, which is a pattern by Petite Knit, because the balloon cardigan is knit in garter stitch. And I didn't want a garter stitch cardigan. I wanted something, I wanted something stockinette, something a bit more simplistic. I don't know. I thought stockinette wouldn't look as sloppy as the garter stitch. I don't think the garter stitch looks sloppy. It's just a very different look. So I've done a lot of work on this, you guys. I have the entire body knit. This is using our antique colorway, which I showed you I'm using for my Saturday morning socks. I have one arm knit, and then I have the other arm knit. So I have modified this pattern slightly. I'm using our DK weight non-superwash yarn, and I'm holding it with our Surrey alpaca yarn. As I said, both are in antique. We have a dyed to order option in the shop, and you can always choose 8 skeins of yarn and then say you'd like, for example, 4 antique non-superwash DK, 4 antique Surrey silk, for example. In anything, you could use it for anything, any cardigan, any pullover, any shawl. Just needs to be 3 skeins or more of the same colorway. So I'm really enjoying knitting on this, as you can tell. And the only modifications that I've made is I am using DK instead of worsted weight. The needle size is exactly as the pattern calls for. I am knitting the size medium because I wanted it to be a bit oversized. This as well is a size medium from Petite Knit. And I knit 20 stitches less than called for in the arms. I knit 20 stitches less. I knit the sleeve about, I think, 8 centimeters shorter. and I followed everything else as called for in the pattern. So, I mean, the sleeves would have been huge on the cardigan. I think it would have gone to like down here. So now the sleeves on my cardigan are quite a bit more fitted actually. It has just been so wonderful to knit. This thing is soft as butter and it's pretty light for as big as it is. I mean, this goes mid-thigh and it's really, really light. I find that our non-superwash yarn is very light. Robert's just phoned me and he just finished his physical therapy and he is stopping by the studio to bring some lunch. So that will be really nice. We have a lot of really fun things in the shop right now. We have so many new colorways. I couldn't even begin to share them all. Every colorway that is in our shop are ones that you who looked at our shop when we were living in America, nothing that's in the shop existed when we lived in America. Those aren't even colorways that I'm dyeing unless I'm doing a specific mini skein set, which I'm referring to as Vault Collection mini skein sets, whether they're colorways that were in the shop, whether they're Harry Potter yarns that were in the shop, which I currently have in the shop, Harry Potter Vault Collection, fingering weight and DK weight. Those come with a Howler Progress Keeper from Simply Serving. They are so cool and I won't be dyeing those again until 2022. I also have a pre-order for our Deathly Hallows mini skein set and then for our 7 Horcruxes mini skein set. Those also, I won't be offering them again until 2022. So if you guys want to get in on those mini sets, definitely do that. I've started offering a monthly mini skein club. You have your choice of fingering weight or DK weight. And there are 5 20-gram minis. We're having monthly yarn clubs, so you get a 100-gram skein of yarn and you can choose if you want that on fingering or DK weight again. And all of those clubs are one-of-a-kind clubs. So I spend a lot of time in the dye studio creating colorways that I know I would never be able to recreate again. So those are using lots of different dyes, techniques that I know are not techniques that you can use for repeatable colorways. And I've been having a lot of fun with those. I just sent out February's Minis Club and February's 100-gram club. And I hope that those of you who signed up for those love them. All right, time for me to get into the studio. I have orders to pack, I have yarn to dye, I have mini sets to put together. I just added to the shop, let me share with you guys, a new mini skein set. This is a 10-gram mini skein set. This is our Wonderwall collection. Really beautiful, super saturated colors. And this week, I'm heavily working on adding more 10-gram mini sets as well as 50-gram minis collections. We do have a couple of each in the shop right now, but they're all one-of-a-kind sets. I will not be dyeing my speckled mini sets ever again. So I have so much fun playing in the kitchen with those. Anyway, Robert will be here soon. It is time for me to finish what I need to finish before he arrives with some lunch. I hope that you guys are enjoying whatever weather you are having, wherever you are, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.